my machine is a little bit not shut down yet. But first thing I'm gonna do is go into my GitHub project because they finished about this or not. I just need to double click the machine. Anyways normally got my own machine. So press accept. So now they're done. Now what I need to go to is in my gentoo machine. Well, now we're here done. Now what we need to go is into the gentoo wiki back again. So I need to go into my gentoo handbook back again, and this I'm gonna choose installing the gentoo installation files, and this is only as basic. So now we're gonna type in this command and go into my script. We're gonna use the argument W. So we need to choose /mnt /gentoo /etc /portage /make.conf. So now after the authorization, we need to change a little bit settings. So first thing I'm gonna do is go through. Okay, now certainly what we need to type in is follow these steps. Common flex. Here we only have 0 to pi. Don't worry, you will have to add one more flag here, which is called, you're gonna type in a dash March equals F64, and you're gonna press the space bar. Now here, don't change nothing, and FC flags and F flags, leave it whether, and you're gonna choose make OPTS equals -J3. And what we need to do is choose merge default opts, and the opts are called ask enter invalid, which is not gonna let you ask you to enter. And we're gonna add jobs free as the first flag, road average equals 3, and we're gonna choose auto unmask backtrack. And you're gonna hit Y instead of N. So we're now done with the emerge default opts, and we're gonna type in portage niceness, and you're gonna go with the 19. So, and now I want to go with the portage ionize command. So the ionize command, as I said, it is gonna be my ionize -c 3 -p server ionize. And that is all about ionize. Now we need to choose use, and I want to configure any flags, so I will do it approximately in a second. So we're gonna add the flag for system D, equal support for iOS, support for iPod, support for Emacs, and support for XEmacs. So now what we're gonna do is use video cards, and I just didn't know it, so I will add it later at the time in my MacBook Pro 2012 running 10.15.7. I will show you a presentation of it or my other thing it is. So now we're gonna accept any keywords we need. So we're gonna type in accept keywords equals AMD64, which is gonna let me use the AMD64 installation normally. Now we're gonna go through features. Features will be code. IPC Sandbox, which is a feature I want. Network Sandbox, which is another feature I want. Downgrade backup. I need a downgrade backup as my own backup, what I need. So I need parallel fetch. We won't add one of the lines, so if your settings are invalid or whatever, you just wanted to configure your own settings and your settings are invalid, don't worry, use these ones. And now we're done with this one. First, note, we're gonna choose TMP dir, which is what I want, and I needed this bar TMP. Now I'm done with adding the lines for TMP. Now I'm just gonna go through gentoo mirrors. So my gentoo mirrors should be the link I used previously in Wings, which is this one I put into the nano editor, which is called downloads mirrors. So now I'm just gonna quote C for the purposes. So C should be quoted, or if not, the assistant will say you that it's not quoted. And we need to add the support for EFI platforms. If you're in legacy mode, don't do that and switch to EFI. So now we're done adding one line and more lines. Press Ctrl O, press Enter, and then Ctrl X. Now we're done doing this, and if you do this example, then you are not acquired with the immerse attention. With the immerse attention, we need to choose installing base system. Now we can install any mirrors we have. For that, we need to choose mirror select -I -O, and it is gonna be saved into /mnt /gentoo /etsy /portage /make.conf. Now, gentoo mirrors will be here, and these are all the mirrors that I found, which whatever mirror you need, I have. So that's why I recommend you doing the mirror I say, which is mirrors.gentoo mirrors. And what I'm gonna just select is go through the US ones. So whatever, you're just gonna go with this one, and I'm just gonna go with the also open source one. So you're just gonna clear this thing and you're gonna make a directory. So you're gonna type in mkdir -parents /mnt /gentoo /etsy /portage /repos.conf. Now we're done making the directory, and what we need to do is choose cp /mnt /gentoo /user /share /portage /config /repos.conf, and you're gonna save it inside mnt gentoo etsy portage, and that is gonna be our repos.conf created recently directory gentoo.conf. So gentoo.conf. Now, if we choose, we need to just go through over the settings, and if we take a peek at the text editor by using cat, it may give you whatever things you're doing. So that is cat, and we're interested in copying a DNS. For that, we need to choose the reference, which is going to be this one, and you're just gonna choose /etc/result.conf, which is gonna be your router, and /mnt/gentoo/etc. Now we're done doing this, so now we need to mount the necessary file systems. So we're gonna choose mount types proc/mnt/gentoo/proc, and that is gonna mount proc into that directory. Now we can, instead of use types, we can choose our bint. So the directory will be sys. Sys was a directory which is called the system. So if mnt gentoo sys is not found, don't worry. You will need to choose sys. So we're now done mounting with our bint. So now we're gonna make an operation here. Now here what we need to do is make it as our sway. So make our sway, and the operation should be with the directory we mounted previously, which is mnt gentoo sys. Now the same, but this time the directory should be /dep for devices, and if you delete the entire directory, you will notice you will have to go back to the stage 3 and delete all these files from / and for scratch, not mnt gentoo. You will have to delete every single file, so that's why you're not deleting the dev directory. So now the same, but instead of sys, dep. Now whatever, we're in a Gentoo installation media. So this don't do it. If not, you will get an error during the deletion. And first thing we're gonna enter is the new environment. To enter a new environment, we're gonna shoot in into /mnt/gentoo, and we're gonna use is bin bash for the shell of what we're doing. So now instead of mnt gentoo, we're on /, which means we can go. Now what we need to do is choose source /etc/profile. Then we can export routing with using this command. If you use parallels, something like that, it may give you a warning. So don't install Red Hat. So I want to make Red Hat free without doing a login. So now instead of doing this without a word, we're shooting into /. Now we need to mount the boot partition. We created the partitions, but we haven't mounted the boot partition, so we only have a swap and mnt gentoo partition, so we're just gonna configure the portage. So now you're gonna use, instead of immerse sync, we're gonna use -WebRSync. And this may take a moment, a little bit, and that is gonna fetch the files we need. So this will be the mirror we have complained about in Gentoo mirrors. So now it may give you all the available mirrors we have. So now if you see this, you're just gonna press a Ctrl+C if it does not do anything. Now we can sync everything by using merge, sync, and that is gonna refresh all the keys via WKD. And it may just choose whatever mirror we created. So we configure the portage, and that is going good. So that is doing, and just stay in the HTTP, check everything it is just working. Unless the fingerprint, which is not copied on this computer. So now we're gonna wait until these work. So whatever, if you haven't seen a gentoo installation before, watch the part 1, which is gonna be streaming in 1 week. 7 days free to watch my other video, and I will upload on 7 days, 21/01 to 2021. I will upload it, and we will have 10 days to get 2021 terminated. I mean January for terminated. So we're just gonna wait until these finish, and that is gonna take 50/60 minutes. And you can give it a little bit, 5 croissants or 5 bottles of water. Do not need to know, just go from 1 to 1. If you see the waiting, it is just the waiting, the files will not be available. So we're just doing from our OSL laboratory, and if you want to just configure the mirrors manually, I will give you the mirrors you will have under your mirror select, and I had did this. So I haven't created a username, so I will use this at the end of this installation, which is gonna be a little bit. So if we choose use, then we can get rid of system D if we want. To get rid of system D, we can just do with the one which is called system D. Use means required use. whatever, you can see my other video in 2 weeks, which I will install one HQ and development in Ubuntu 20, which I'm gonna do later when the installation is done. And this is gonna be a full installation, so we're not separating parts or anything. So we'll just upload it to YouTube, and there it is for you out there. something, but this may take up to 1 hour. If you get slow than 1 hour, then you have to use the quiet option for frame buffers or serial consoles. So whatever reading news items will show to me soon, which is accepted. We can choose man_use.deselect or more. So we're not creating the username now unless we install a bootloader. So if the bootloader is installed, then you can go. So that's the Emacs application. So whatever, if you do not go through the gentoo installation, you're not done, and you don't install a bootloader, not happy with the bootloaders, don't worry. And alongside it, you will not need to install a bootloader. So these are one of those, the Emacs. So I just added support for Emacs, and we're at tab, starting from A to Z. So 36 minutes. Guide in AMD. So AMD was a processor that you could buy by Python for whatever you have to do. This will not deal to you. So it may use 3 files per second. So these are manifest or whatever. I can't read because this is scrolling too fast. So I can scroll, go back into my machine, and we can choose whatever news items to use. To the Fire System D, I'm just gonna go through, which was focused on, and we're just gonna go through, or this is optional. So no matter where around the world, or we can mostly configure. So the remainder focuses on open RC. So, okay. Up into 1 hour, it may finish. So if it's more than 1 hour, then we'll have to choose the option 2. The option 2 is just doing this for this. Optional using system D as the index system. So that is gonna be a little bit optional. So we'll analyze using system D. So I just added a flag for system D, see if it will let me. It needs to desire a little bit. So up to 1 hour it may work. So whatever. So itself, Java says in every single word, and Java will die approximately in 2016. So I'm gonna prepare Java from Oracle to be very amazing. So I will show you about the sponsor, which is Xcode. Still our sponsor are Xcode and the one which was called Skillshare. Skillshare should be very good. So Skillshare will give you 3-month trial. For that, you can choose download Xcode well. For discovering, we can choose iOS, and this will give you for iOS 14. Now we can choose widgets and whatever all of these. In iPad OS 14, new features are there. Sidebars, menus, daytime pickers, and color picker. Siri was also new. So whatever we explore over macOS. So, all new interface. So Safari extensions, one of those are. So we can choose tvOS. That is cinematic and everything. So whatever, we can now choose watchOS and choose whatever watchOS. So now there is Swift UI. Swift was introduced in 2014. Later than that, and there you can choose whatever the internet, WWDC, and when I'm 18 years old, I will introduce Safari with watchOS. So that will be pretty interesting feature. I'm gonna do the atmosphere. So now, and starting from 2010, they coded instead of iOS. They removed the phone and they simply named it as iOS. So whatever, the classic design was from 6, and if you want to upgrade to a more relevant design, you can just choose to upgrade to the newest OS, which is iOS 7 to get a modern interface. So, Mark? 47. This should take about 1 hour or more. So now, eBuild repository should be updated. So, how it'll end? So we're now on Webs, and this should take about 1 hour. If we see 1 hour on the phone, will give us about 10. So how many minutes? 49. Yeah. 49 gives much longer and much longer. We're just gonna paste them to see what it looks like. So now we're on dev rule. So PowerShell is a new feature that introduced in Windows 10. Now I did use PowerShell for a few weeks, but PowerShell was the first one to be released on Windows. And believe it or not, they were now with it for Linux. So now ISE was an x86 returns an x86 terminal. So whatever, the default Windows space about that is this I want to switch it to this one. So now here it is. So there's a new thing. Mem test x86. So now that is memtest 86 plus. So now we're here 52 minutes. Now we're about 54 and we have 6 minutes left to this to go. One thing that you will notice is JavaScript.